You said a word earlier that I want to bring back into the conversation, wind harps.
Oh, yeah. Aeolian harp, you could also say, is the ancient Greek version of it.
Okay. And so what is it?
The history of these goes really far back, thousands of years. The game version is sort of based on the South San Francisco wind harp. It's maybe 3 or 4 stories tall. They're sort of tubes of air that the wind travels through and are tuned in a specific way that the air passing through them causes tonal qualities to arise. In some cases, it's also just a series of strings that are played by the air, or like sort of like the classic Greek Aeolian harp is like basically just a harp that's placed in a very windy landscape. So the design of that also influenced the score in a way where we wanted there to be a mystical quality, which the score uses aspects from the Foley design to sort of trigger itself.
There's something eerie about an instrument that plays itself. I think the self-playing instrument needs to imply the presence of a person who isn't there, like this one does, to be properly eerie.
So there's parts of the winds that are blowing through the natural environment, which sort of are doubled in the way that the score is realized within Wise. And maybe you could talk a little bit of that, Nicolas.
So in Ting Valley, for instance, we had some big regions, and those regions, the music emanates from one particular spot, but then it's like it entices you to go in a certain direction because it's a huge sphere, and then there's an important spot at the middle. So those curves, those are like both a different layer of a sound, and it's like the closer you get, the more one layer goes down, and then the further you get, the more you have directionality, so the more you know which way you have to go.
Oh, I love a creative attenuation curve. There's so much potential, and you're really leveraging that opportunity that's there.
So I'll just play the 2 blend containers at the same time, and you'll hear some stuff. Hopefully. So the further you get from them, you start hearing the mallets. And then it slowly fades out. By the way, the infinite attenuation curve, that's a trick, because when you stop those segments, it's a few segments of different lengths, but when you leave the big sphere, we wanted it to be able to finish and not just cut out. So it's set up on breaks, and since the attenuation is infinite, well, if you bike ride to the other side of the map, you'll continue hearing it until it ends.
Yeah, and then a big part of the design of this was that all of these different layers were abstract enough that could be kind of collaged and overlap with each other in a way that didn't create any sort of rhythmic dissonance or harmonic dissonance. So everything is done in the same key, in the key of C, actually. So it's really easy to sort of take all these different areas of the map, and as you sort of traverse through them, there's no hard stops, like he's saying, like you're sort of blending from one area into the other area in this way that you maybe don't even notice if you're not paying really close attention to what's happening.
Exactly, and since the sphere overlap, you can be directed to one side or another depending on what texture you're following. I don't know if anybody played it like that, but it's cool to do. Yeah.
Nice. Well, and I love the technical trick that you explained, and you, Spencer, in your retelling of it from the music side of it, it just blends seamlessly. Yeah, really speaks to the level of care that sound and music have gotten for this title. It's a cool trick.
And there's a literal version when you're going down from Estelle, is the main character, from Estelle's village, and you're just sort of descending down into the valley. There's this area where the music from her village and then the music from the valley sort of start to kind of crossfade with each other. And they're in the same key, but they have different tonal centers. You can feel this sort of overlap going from one mode to another mode. So if you just bike down really quickly, you might not notice it, but if you sort of slowly take your time, you can sort of see the way that there's different points at which the two musical volumes kind of overlap in the same way that like going from one environmental audio biome overlaps with the other. So we wanted there to be like these subtle things that you could pick up on if you're sort of closely listening.
And mirroring her emotional journey too, from where she was to where she's going, the music juxtaposition as that transitions, again, all in support of this storytelling side of things.